Werner, in earlier videos, has explained about basic banking, and in particular about a shortcoming of the British banking structure. Now, Dr. Werner, I've heard that it is possible that the government could create debt-free and interest-free money. This seems an extraordinary idea. How could this be without bad effects?
I think what's extraordinary is that we've outsourced the money creation and allocation to the private sector. And that if we want to have more growth, we need the banks to create more credit, and therefore somebody needs to borrow and go into debt. So more growth requires more debt. I think that's really the extraordinary thing, that we have such a strange and inefficient system of money supply.
And it doesn't have to be like this?
No, it doesn't. The current system is beneficial, particularly to the banking sector, but there are alternatives. It's obvious that the current system is beneficial to the banks because they have such a pivotal role in the economy. They're allowed to create the money supply and allocate it, so they have all these allocation decisions.
And they create interest, charge interest.
And they charge interest for it. So, and of course interest compounds. It's a mathematical exponential formula where soon you will have to repay not just what you borrowed with a bit of a fee, but actually twice as much as you borrowed or a multiple of what you borrowed. Right. So compounding interest places a big burden on society.
Right, yes. I looked up a mortgage calculator on the web, and for a 26-year mortgage at 6%, you pay back as much in interest over that period as you do the original loan you had.
Right, so you can see that this is quite attractive for banks because they receive this interest and they're very profitable. We know the bank sector is very profitable. So the current system is, of course, how banks like to run the show. But really, it's an extracting mechanism where the financial sector, the banking sector, is extracting resources from the economy. And really, what is the value added by banks? We're always told, oh, they increase efficiency in the economy, but well, they don't produce anything. And the alternative ways of actually more efficiently allocating finance and funding. And the alternative that I think would be most acceptable to people is the one that most people think we already have anyway, which is a system where the government creates and allocates the money supply.
Right.
And then you wouldn't have this burden of compounding interest, and you can have money without debt. You can expand the money supply without debt. All this is possible. In fact, has happened in history. It's been done in the past.
Right. In our current economic crisis, the government is having to take account of the huge amount of debt from past governments' policies. A lot of people are suffering from the cuts that are required. But this might change in future if debt did not arise. Is this a possibility?
Yes. Well, just thinking about how we got here, of course, governments have huge debts because they've used the system, the monetary system that has been established over centuries now in many countries. And so governments think, many politicians think that governments need to borrow and get indebted in order to fund government expenditure. That's not actually true. And of course, at the same time, the tax burden has been very high. Taxpayers need to service the interest and repay government bonds. And so you can see that this is the extraction mechanism at work, where the government levies the interest and has to levies taxes and has to raise taxes in order to pay for the compounding interest. But you could cut all that out if you had the government creating and allocating money through fiscal spending, government spending. The government can spend money into circulation, money that it has issued. And of course, this has been done in the past, and it can be done quite efficiently today with modern IT technology.
Right.
So it's
when has it been done before? Well, specifically,
we're here in beautiful Winchester, which of course used to be the capital of England before London became the capital. So a mere 1,000 years ago. In fact, it was in Winchester when the government, of course, was here. That means the treasury was here as well. And in the 12th century, roughly, the government figured out a way of adding to the money supply without creating the problems of compounding interest for the government. The government issued government money. This was in the form of tally sticks, which is an ancient, almost prehistoric form of money. But this was introduced systematically by the treasury, and the tally sticks were accepted for tax payments, and that of course gives this money its value.
Right.
And this worked quite well, and the economy did well from this, and government debt could be minimized.
Right, so there was no interest to pay, or
that's
minimized,
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Of course, certain bankers didn't like this. They would have preferred a system where you have to borrow at interest. Of course, this is the system that we now have worldwide, but there's no reason why we can't change that. And now, with modern technology, we could do it even better than 800 years ago.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Thanks very much. Very promising. Thank you. See our other videos featuring Professor Werner's ideas on banking and the economy.